YouTube message.
In 1 minute.
Okay.
Start.
I can start now. Right. Good evening, everyone. my name is Dayo Gujabi, and our session this evening is going to be focusing on a hands-on approach around Power BI. I'm a very strong believer of the taste of pudding is in its eating. So I'm hoping that by the end of this session today, we will be able to download and install Power BI ourselves and relate with the different aspects of Power BI's integrated development environment and how to get data into Power BI, particularly in this case, Excel, and how to build widgets. So without much ado, I'm not sure if you all received the link to the URL on my screen. If not, I think it's on the chat. If you can please go to this website for me. I'll give you all 2 minutes to get on there. Then once we've done that, we'll download the free version. If anyone doesn't have it, please let me know, and I can send you the link.
Hi, DJ.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah. While we are trying to download the Power BI application, I would appreciate if you have some kind of Excel sheet that we can use for practice to bring data into Power BI.
Sure, that's
like
fine.
if there's a general one for the class to use, so we just lay our hands on a practical.
I did send one earlier on. I'm not sure. Bear with me. To get that across to. Can I attach files on chat here or not?
Yeah, you can send it to me. I can forward it to everyone. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
do that. Yeah. Okay,
on the
I'll forward it to everyone. 1 minute.
Yeah, it's on the tutor profile
Okay, I'll forward it.
in Telegram. Right. So I believe we're all there now. So I will now click on the download free version. Probably would see a pop-up here. When you see that, rather than open Microsoft Store, I would say just click on cancel. Let's try and reload. No, that's not what we want.
Hello, Daya. Sorry, we can't see your screen.
Oh, sorry, 1 second. Screen 1. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Are you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So rather than click on the download free version, we want to click on see download or language option. That it'll take us to the download page. The system requirement is basic, so most average computers will be able to install it. And we click on the download English version. I would go for the x64-bit version. So the first version is what we're clicking on. I would wait for everybody to get to this point before I go any further. Right, so next. So now we're downloading it. So I'm going to save this. So while excuse me, while we're waiting for the file to download, I believe they just sent you the sample data that we'll be working with today. So please check that you've received it, and if not, please shout. If we have anyone who has theirs downloaded already, feel free to run the application and follow the default prompts. Apologies about this. My internet is a bit slow today. I wasn't expecting it to take this long. While we're waiting for that download process, Power BI is a data analytical tool that is as powerful as Microsoft Excel. It has both the capability of being an end user tool and at the same time being a Power BI tool, a Power user tool. So it can be used in developing and analyzing complex data as a data analyst or as a developer. Likewise, it can be used in presenting and giving users information. And the UK government is part of their digital strategy that a lot of their applications will be moving to Power BI in the next 5 years. So if any one of you finds yourself doing data analysis job in public sector, you're most likely going to be encountering Power BI as one of your tools. Just going to relate that to bear with me. I'll share an example of that for you in practice. This is an education, the Department for Education's data analysis environment. At this point, I believe we should all have Power BI downloaded. Please double click on it. Do you have anyone who successfully installed theirs? Can you still all see my screen? So click on next. Hello?
Yes, I have it.
Oh, okay. So I'm now going to click on install. And while we wait for that to install, I'll just take us into Power BI live environment for us to see. Please do let me know if anyone has any challenge or questions with installing Power BI, so we can ensure that you all have it installed today. Just waiting for Power BI to load up. I think we're there now. Good. Right. Can you all see my screen before I go any further?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. So normally there is a portal for deploying Power BI, and that's what it's giving us a prompt here to sign into that portal. But today we will not be deploying Power BI onto a portal, so I will just ignore the prompt, and we then go to the next point. So if you can all close the prompts you have currently, you can see that the first prompt you have by default is add data to your report. And we have import data from Excel, import data from SQL, paste data from a blank table, or try a sample data set. So it's quite versatile and robust in the kind of information that it gives. And on the right-hand side are different visuals for the charts and for presenting information. The most common ones that people use are the slicer, bar charts, and pie charts, and increasingly, data analysts use the Q&A, which is the artificial intelligence and data modeling capability of that comes with Power BI. And on the right-hand side, you would have fields. So this will get populated once we've loaded our data. And we have our filters again that will get populated once we've loaded our data into it. Right. So without much ado, can we all click on import data from Excel, please? And load up the data that Deji sent over to us a few minutes ago. So I'm just trying to find my. Show me. I think I have it on here. I've just noticed that the data you have is in CSV rather than Excel. So can you open it up and save as an Excel workbook, please? Do we know how to do that? So you open up the data, file, save as, and on the drop down, we click on Excel workbooks and we save. So we're converting our data set from CSV to Excel. So that's the format that we need to do our import in. I'm going to come back to my import page. Click on my World's Jercoms account totals. And we're now importing it. Has anyone completed the import?
Yeah.
Good, well done.
Yes.
Good, thanks. So my computer is a bit slow today, not sure what is going on with it. Please bear with me. Strange. Something is not right, so I'm going to just clear that and start the process again. It shouldn't take this long. Open. Sorry. So if we get to the point, we select the table and then we load our data. Right. So if we don't come on the right hand, is anybody still doing the data import? If I go any further. Okay, so I'm assuming we're all at the same point. Good. So here is our data set. And normally what would have happened is we would have explored the data from the point where we're extracting it, so we know what we have. But what I normally tell people is the first thing you want to do is get your data as a table first, so that it gives you an overview of the kind of information that you're dealing with. Because as data analysts, one of the key things you need to do is your ability to find patterns in the information. So what we'll now do now is we're just going to explore the data and start making sense of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a chart to show us the products by quantity. So if we click on the right hand side, the top right here, you can click on remove, and that removes the table. Then we're going to introduce a column chart. We'll make this a clustered column for now. So clustered column is the fourth to your, the third to your right. So do we all have our clustered column selected? And then we're going to click on products. So what I'm hoping we achieve today is see the power of Power BI in helping us analyze data and quantity. So we've clicked on products. So it has automatically done the adjustments in terms of what should be on the x-axis and the y-axis for us. So on the right-hand side now, we have our quantity by products. So we can see what each customer has in the business. Have we all created our quantity by products chart? Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to leave this because the idea behind using Power BI is we're presenting a dashboard that we can either use as data analysts or business analysts or business intelligence professionals to provide information to people. So next, we're going to now look at the same matrix. So charts again, a cluster column, but this time around, we will be doing it by customer. So keep that here. I will click on the customer name. I will click on quantities. So we'll see what each of our customers has purchased with us. So as we can see here, due to the way the information is presented, excuse me, is presented, one of the capabilities we have as data analysts using tools like this is we can explore.
Hello, sir. Hello there.
Hello?
Hello there. Yeah.
Yes.
Someone actually is raising their hand. So if
Oh, sorry,
you
I'm
want to
not
ask
used to.
Alright.
1 second.
okay, I think the person already lowered their hand. And
No, that's me.
so
I
I
just
think there
want to
was
ask a
an hand
question.
raised.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Yeah,
Ask.
I understand that Power BI comes up with an automatical placement of what should be on the X and the Y axis. But
Yep.
what happens in cases if we want to change it ourselves? And you
Very
just
good question.
shed light on that. Yeah.
Very good question. So if we want to change it ourselves, so I've now come back to what we've selected now. So I've clicked on it. And if you look at the right-hand side, we can see we have the X-axis and we have the Y-axis here. So in terms of giving us control, you can either swap it or you can select what you want in terms of the field that you want to choose. Let's say we remove this field and then we come here and drag the actual field we want into the X-axis, or we drag the actual field one in the Y-axis. And we have other options as well in terms of the legend, the description, and multiples. So these are advanced tools that we may not use on a day-to-day basis. And we have the tooltips as well, which just gives us descriptives about the tables. So have you tried swapping the tables with the field yourself?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that helps.
Thank you. Have you tried it?
No.
You want to give it a go?
All right. Yeah.
Do we all want to change our X-axis to our Y-axis and vice versa? Let's see how that comes up.
Okay.
Good?
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, right.
Thank you.
So as a data analyst, I've now looked at my customer name by quantity, and I can see that this information is not giving me what I want to see per se, because it's not so we've used a chart that doesn't give us the information, doesn't do justice to the information. So at times like this, you then explore what other visuals can relay the information you need. So on this occasion, I'm going to try the tree map. And with Power BI, it makes it easy for us. We can just click on this, on the existing chart, and click on the tree map and see how the information is presented for us. So now this gives us more views as to who our really top clients are. And we can then click around it to get more details of it. So it's easier to then interact with this for the customers. And it gives them a nicer view of the visuals for it. Any questions so far? Okay. So the next thing we're going to try is our filter, which in Power BI is called the slicer. Just put that there. This way. And what I want to do is I'm going to select the products, drag it here in the field. So you can either use the field or you can drag it directly into the GUI of the visuals you're dealing with. And what this gives us is it gives us a list of all the products so that if we want to then ask specific questions about the data. So for example, in this case, let's see every customer that has Exchange Online. So if I click on this, has now reduced it to show us the customers that we have with Exchange Online. Likewise, if we want to look at customers with 365 apps for businesses, click on that, and then it gives us those interactivity to be able to see our data from different points and different angles. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, so in the absence of a question.
Sorry, excuse me. How did you get the slider thing?
Yep, sure. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to remove it. And then on the right-hand side, we can, all of this, if you click on it, also if you hover your mouse on it, it would show you the name of the tool in question. So this is the slicer here, the little funnel. Can you see?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. So by clicking on it, it automatically brings it up for you. And then it's then going to be as simple as dragging the fields that we want to slice on. So on this occasion, we're making this for products. Then we can interact with that. We can also have another slicer, customer. So if we want to see what a customer has, so customer name. All right. So this is another slicer by customer. And all this gives us the tools as data analysts to give our users solutions to analyze data themselves. 1 second, let me just do a quick check on this site. Bear with me. Check here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the site has been maintained. That's why we are unable to see it. Sorry about the inconvenience. Okay. Right. So back to our development environment. So if I'm now, we've gone through the process of creating our data using Excel. Also have ability to use other tools. So for example, in this case, SQL, we can connect an SQL server if we have one. And this allows us to write our SQL statement that you've just gone through. So you could say, select all from a specific table, and that would go onto that database and extract the information from the database for you to see. Just going to explore one more option for us here. I'm talking about relationships. So if we notice what we have in Excel here, and what we have in Power BI, can we see that we have it? It looks almost similar to what you're doing in Excel. So you have to get data, and you have to get data here. So Power BI, as excuse me, as I reiterated earlier on, is supposed to be Excel on steroids. So it gives you the ability to do more. It's a newer tool, and as I understand it, was previously the direction of travel for Microsoft. They were looking to replace Excel with Power BI, but I don't think that's happening anymore. Okay. Right. So while we wait for that, I'll now take us back to our data sets that we've created. So can everybody double click on their data sets on their table, please? And you can see here, this gives us the ability to rename our table. So you can call this whatever you want, because there'll be times that you want to create different links or different views relating to your data. So this just gives us the ability to do that. So on this location, I'm changing this to Dio's data. And it just makes it easier for you to interact with the information at that stage and at that level. Right. So bear with me. The next thing I'm going to show us now is looking at our table. So on the left-hand side, and you all see a table button. The data. And can you click that for me, please? Have we done that? Similar to what we've just done in SQL, excuse me, in SQL, we're going to derive a field, but in Power BI, this is just going to be called a new measure. So a new measure is going to create us. So we can say here, quantity by user. So let's make this quantity by user. We'll call this quantity by user. Quantity by user, just for argument's sake. And we're going to type quantity. Bear with me. No, I think what we're doing is a quick measure. 1 second. We cancel that. I'll try that again. A quarter of our costs. Let's make that. There's something unusual is going on here. So we cancel out of that. Go back to our table tools. Let's create this as a new column first. Let's our calculation. So let's click on average. Let's say we want to look at the average of quantity by customer and click on OK. Okay, so I see what they've done. So they've changed the way that it works. So here, what we've just done, and I'm going to do that again. I've just done it because I'm not 100% sure the change they've made to their system. But this field, we created a new field, by creating a derivation from our data set, as we would normally do in Excel. So created an average value for customer by the quantity. So that's one of the things that we can do in the data section. We can also update the headings. So in terms of giving it names that are user friendly, all as we would do in Excel. So back to our table tools, mark as a data table. So just come back to our home page. Right. Any questions so far on the table interaction I've just shown? Okay. So the next thing I'm going to show is the modeling environment. So again, back to what you learned or what you'll be learning in SQL. What this gives us is an opportunity to link tables, assuming we have two different tables or we have a data structure, and creating entity diagrams, linkages between one table and another table. So that typically is done here. So I'll try and see if I can replicate just for purpose of demonstration. Edit query, select column. Right. So for the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to import another Excel table. Let's call this, just make a random table in. So it says that table is not an expected format. So let's try another one. Right. So let's look at monthly resale invoices. Let's try that. Okay. This is similar to the data set we have, just to a different name. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to load it. Apply changes. So now we have two different table sets in here. And under normal circumstances, there's likely going to be a relationship between them. So for example, account name will be linked with customer name. So relationships like that can be defined here. So if you do remember when I said earlier on that Power BI can do things that you can do in SQL environment as well. So this is giving us that demonstration in terms of how to build relationships, how to link tables that typically could have been done in Power BI, sorry, in SQL. So here it is giving us the first table and the second table, and it wants to know whether what we want to link is this to this, and whether we're happy with a many-to-many relationship. And it gives you some advisory here, which is this relationship has cardinality many-to-many. This should only be used if it's expected that neither columns account name contains unique values. So this gives us, Power BI would analyze the data and make recommendations. So it's just basically warning us against using many-to-many relationship on this instance. So let's change our account name to sub-account instead and do one-to-many and see. Doesn't allow us to one-to-many. Okay, that's strange. So many-to-many, and let's click on OK. Right. So it's created a link of many-to-many for us. This is not best practice. You tend to use many-to-many in situations where the quality of your data is limited. So yeah, so these are the three typical areas for that your Power BI has. And excuse me, there are then the advanced sections. So like if you look at the Q&A setup, if you click on that, this just gives us an ability to interact with the data in human interaction conversations. I'm sure we've all had about things like chat GPT and artificial intelligence. So the Q&A section leverages the power of AI and machine learning to push your data analytics or your data analysis work to the next level and make it easier for users to interact with data. So that's one of the tools that we have. So if I come back to our report section, and just give us some of the interactivities that we have in Power BI. So for example, if you're given a presentation and you want to highlight a specific issue, you can do that by clicking on it and saying you want to create a spotlight. And what that does is it grays out all the other ones and gives the focus on what you're spotlighting for your audience. So those are examples of the tools and capabilities within Power BI. Do we have, excuse me, do we have any questions before we round up? Let me check chat. Okay, so I think in the absence of any questions, I'll say that's us, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Deji.
Yeah. Oh, Nelly, you have a question?
Kind of giving a thumbs up for what he did. Thank you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Deji.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that. So I was trying to unmute myself. Sorry. Yeah. So hold on 1 minute. Let me stop.